the vibe never really changed. No one ever, kind of sulked about it. And, there was no, pointing fingers or feeling down. It was just kind of, all right, hey, this is what happens. This is kind of the game. Next man up. And everybody that kind of filled in did exactly what we needed them to do. So, um, taking that mentality with a full strength squad is going to be special.
What was your perspective on those injuries? Because there were a lot of them, and it just seemed like one blow after another, and now you get to a fresh start with healthy people this time around.
Yeah, just it kind of seemed like we never really got our head fully above water. Like you said, it just seemed like it was one thing after the other, and a lot of it was just kind of bad luck or bad timing. But again, the resilience of this squad and the makeup of everybody in this clubhouse got us, over that hump and through the season. And, we kind of snuck into the postseason when, quite honestly, we probably shouldn't have. So it was a special group.
I know it's part of the business, but how tough was it losing Travis Darno? And at the same time, you enjoyed pitching to Trump, and you got a healthy Sean Murphy. Do you feel good about the catching situation?
Absolutely. Losing a guy like Travi in any clubhouse is a blow. Who he was obviously on the field was special. He had some really, really big moments last year, but in his career wearing this uniform. So, that's never an easy thing, watching a guy like that walk out the door. But at the end of the day, it's baseball. How many teams truly stay together for years on end? He's a little bit closer to home, which might be a little bit better for his family too. So, doesn't make it easy, but it's part of it.
I remember this time last year, you said you felt the healthiest you've ever felt. So after playing a full season, how are you feeling coming into spring training this year?
I feel good. Feel ready. So, like I said, I'm hoping that what we did in the off season translates to spring training and roll that into the season.
Chris, Best is the Past is, obviously, it's not your first rodeo, but to be heard in that last game, kind of going into the playoffs, how much is that motivating you going forward, to this season, making sure that you guys can finish that job in the postseason this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think, having all the guys being healthy too is going to help a lot. Health is kind of the main goal of all of this. You can't really do a whole lot when you're not healthy. So, having a clean slate, starting fresh, having everyone back, and, it's day one of spring training, it's always good vibes. So, we're just excited to get this thing going and try to take back the division.
Is there a way you would say maybe this locker room on day one, I know it's still early, but is different than what it was at this time last year? I know optimism's always high at this point, but are you getting a sense of a different feel at all?
No, I would say that it's mostly the same guys. And again, just the attitude of this team, the makeup of everybody in this clubhouse, our coaching staff, doesn't really allow for a whole lot of ups and downs. It's a pretty even keel group, very laid back but intense when we need to be. So it makes for a fun and good environment to be in.
Once you were able to take it all in, how satisfying was last year? Looking back.
It was. I appreciated it. It was crazy. Going from where I was to get to the end of November 20th was a pretty crazy day for me. So I'm just appreciative. I know I myself put in a lot of work, but there's a lot of other people behind the scenes that put in a lot of work to get me out there too. I wouldn't be there without my teammates. I wouldn't be there without the training staff, coaching staff, my family. You look at this journey you're on and realize how much help you actually need to get there. So I definitely appreciate those people, and I appreciated the journey, and just had fun with it.
Did life change at all?
What's that?
Did life change at all after winning a
No,
Cy Young?
I got 3 kids waking up need breakfast. I got honeydews too. So no, I mean, if anything, it just kind of solidified, how special the people around me are, how much my family means to me, how much my teammates mean to me, and everybody else involved. Being a Cy Young winner is, I guess, it's just something to put on your business card or whatever it is people do. But it didn't change anything for me. I still had to go throw. I had to work out. I had to prepare for a season. If anything, it probably just puts a bigger target on my back. So this is going to be a big year.
I don't know how much you talk to the guys, the teammates throughout the offseason, but as teams like the Dodgers and the Mets spend a lot of money, is the mentality just, hey, look, we got to enough in here to achieve our goals?
No question. I think, what was it, last year? We had the best odds to win the World Series, or second best odds, or something like that. And, I mean, we would basically have the same team. So, I mean, nothing really changes on our end. We got guys that can hit a bunch of homers, and we got a bunch of guys that can keep runs off the board. And that's, at the end of it, that's the name of the game. I feel like our defense was unbelievable too. So, all those things together, and God willing, we got good health. I like our chances as much as anybody.
And you saw Holmes and Schwellenbach last year as rookies. Are you excited about what those guys can do in year 2? And if they are in the rotation, you feel comfortable with them?
No question. I think those guys are kind of primed to have a breakout season and be able to hold down what we're expecting from them.
What can you elaborate on Grant Holmes a little bit, especially of how the season ended? You're unable to go because of his back spasm. He steps up within an hour and he goes out and is able to clinch it for you guys.
No, it says a lot about who he is. I mean, you look at this guy's journey and what he's been through in his career. He gets a shot, and I'm assuming that can be pretty nerve-wracking. So, I mean, and not only that, he's in the bullpen, and then he's starting, and then he's in the bullpen, and then he gets a knock on the door an hour before a start, and holds it down for us. So, again, I mean, I think he's as ready as anybody to take on that task and can be a guy for us, for sure.
Profar's one of those guys, I guess baseball people say, like, makes some things happen,
Mm-hmm.
at the plate, whatever on the bases. What, as if you're facing him as a pitcher and when you had to game plan for him, what makes him so difficult of an at-bat?
He's just never going to give in, and he's baseball smart, and he just makes things happen. He can wreak havoc on the base pass. He's always going to try to put the ball in play and can foul stuff off. So again, I think adding him into our lineup just lengthens it quite a bit.
You mentioned how there's more of a target on your back because you won the Cy Young. So how are you kind of managing the expectations going into the season for yourself?
I'm just trying to do the same thing I did last year. I prepare the same. I did basically the same workouts, basically the same throwing program. So just got some work to do.
You mentioned back on last year, you mentioned so many parts have to fall, like your teammates, training staff, coaching staff, all the things. Were there times when you realized, wow, things are really falling into place this year, like maybe they hadn't in a while or ever, to have such a season like that?
No, I really tried my best not to get wrapped up in any of that stuff. Just when you think you're out of it, you're right back in it, and right when you think you got it, it's gone. So for me, especially just going through what I had been through in the past with stuff, it's how easily you can show up, but how easily you can be gone is kind of the way I was looking at it. So if I had a good start, all right, I got work to do for the next 4 days, and then I pitch again on that 5th day. And if I didn't have a good start, it's like, okay, well, I got work to do for the next 4 days, and I got to pitch on that 5th day. So again, I just try not to get too high or too low. It's just, if you pitch good, you still got work to do, and if you pitch like crap, you still got work to do. You got people expecting things from you, and you have a job to do on this team. You have a role. So I try not to get too wrapped up in any of the good or the bad. And just once the season was over, I was able to kind of look back and reflect and look at things through a different lens. But while you're in it, it's probably not the best idea to do that.
I know it won't be for a couple months, but I'd be dismissed not to ask, what does it mean to the team, but the city, that MLB All-Star will be here, right, in the hometown for you guys?
It's going to be great. I know there was a lot of buzz about it last year, and I think, having a very new ballpark, the facilities, they're prepared for it. And I think for the fans' perspective, I mean, you're basically in a town center with a bunch of food, a bunch of restaurants, gift shops, bars, all that kind of stuff. So I can only imagine what that battery is going to look like in July. It's primed to be a great time.
With Charlie gone this season, you're kind of the next oldest on this rotation. So how do you, in a good way, but how do you plan to kind of just help mentor the young arms on this team with Charlie gone?
Yeah, just being open, being available, I think, and just being approachable. I think that was kind of the cool thing I noticed here when I first got here last year. There was a lot of just kind of sitting over here in this corner. We're missing Sal, which is a tough blow for us. He was great, but there's just a lot of kind of baseball talk and just pitching, and whether we're talking about something going on with somebody else or you know, a game or me facing this guy or you facing this guy or whatever it might be. There's a lot of baseball talk, so that's always healthy for a clubhouse to have, and you know, I think guys know if they got something for me, I'm always here.
You mentioned the off-season workouts. Now we're entering the next phase of spring training to get ready for the regular season. As a veteran, kind of what's your daily mindset for the next few weeks?
Just preparation, discipline, and again, just trying to get ready for spring training. I mean, for the season. I mean, playing long toss, getting my bullpens ready. I would say really kind of rounding out some of the off-speed pitches and stuff like that. So, and just kind of attention to detail. This is really the time of the year where you can really focus on some of the little things that can really help you on the back end of all this.
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. Thank you.